like 700 plus pages. It really just is rich people drama. Like the longest hour of my life. And I'm very glad that I have book 2. I spend a lot of time on TikTok. So this week we need to change that, and I'm going to be swapping my TikTok screen time with reading. Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hey if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be trying to be productive in today's reading vlog. We're going to be swapping my TikTok screen time with reading. So essentially for a week we're going to be looking at the screen time of that day and swapping it with reading. I'm going to be reading for whatever time I spend on TikTok, which might be a lot, might be not a lot. I don't really know like what constitutes a lot, to be honest, at this point. I definitely do sit on TikTok quite a bit during the day, which is not ideal for me. It's just not. And I do find it interesting to look and see how much time I took out of that day scrolling on TikTok. I feel like my average time is 2.5 hours. I'm interested to see what my average time actually is. It is currently Saturday that I'm starting this reading vlog on, so let's look at last Saturday and see how much we was on TikTok for. So last Saturday I was on TikTok for 1 hour and 42 minutes. Is that focusing? So today I'm going to make sure that I read for 1 hour and 42 minutes. If I go over this amount then that's fine, it's just I have to meet that amount a day, if you know what I mean. So if I end up reading like 2 hours whatever, then that's fine. It's just 1 hour 42 is the base limit of reading that I have to do today. It will also be interesting to see how little I spend on TikTok with this challenge and see if it changes. I'll definitely compare the times at the end. One thing I don't want to come across as in this video though is judgy, because genuinely if you want to sit on TikTok, you sit on TikTok. I'm not here to judge anyone. We all have those days that we are just sat on our phones. That is completely normal, completely fine. I don't want to come across as that I'm like hating on TikTok, because girl, I spend a lot of time on that app. It's completely fine. I also thought this would be a good video to get through the book that has been sitting on my TBR the longest. You guys are probably going to know what's coming, the book that I'm going to choose today, because you probably see it a lot in my TBR videos and I never end up reading it. So today I'm going to use this challenge to start with reading Rivals by Jilly Cooper. We're finally going to tackle this bad boy. It is like 700 plus pages. I've been putting it off, I'll be honest. I'm going to hold my hands up. Yes, I've been putting this book off. But hopefully by swapping my TikTok screen time with reading, I'll be able to get through this book. I'm going to start with this book and hopefully I'll also be able to squeeze in another book as well for this video, because I think we can do that. I think we can do that, guys. So we're going to start today and we're going to hit the timer and start with Rivals. It is Sunday now, so spoiler alert, I didn't end up starting the challenge on Saturday. I just didn't feel like it made sense because I had every intention starting the challenge yesterday, but then I was out the whole day, so it wasn't really ideal conditions to start a challenge. I didn't even go on my phone yesterday, so it wasn't even like I'd spent the day scrolling instead. I was just out all day. There was no time for reading, unfortunately. So we're starting this challenge on a Sunday. It is currently 10:33 AM and I today have 1 hour and 24 minutes to read, because last Sunday, that is how much time I spent on TikTok. So that is the stats, can we see? And that is how much I'll be reading today. I am reading Rivals by Jilly Cooper. This is the book of the first book of the video. I'm hoping we can get 2 books done. I'm hoping to read a fair bit of this book today. I'm not really too sure how much I will be able to get read in 1 hour and 24 minutes, or even if I will read for that amount of time straight. Maybe I'll take like a break and pause the timer, but it will be interesting to see how much I can read, because we're starting from page 1, which actually I kind of love it when a book does this, but page 1 starts on page 13. Chapter 1 starts on page 13. Okay, so we've already got a 13-page head start. Love that. I have brought my headphones downstairs because I'm going to find a playlist that really suits the vibe. There's a lot of playlists. That's what I like to see. I think I'm going to go with this playlist to start with. And hopefully that will set like the scene of, you know, the 60s vibe. I keep saying 60s. Is it the 60s? It's the 80s. Also got my coffee, that is the essential. So let's get the timer ready. Timer is all ready. I'm gonna go get comfy and then we will press start. The timer has gone off. I managed to read 86 pages within the timer, which means that we are partway through chapter 8, I believe. And I feel like that's a good amount. I can't really tell if I'm a fast reader or a slow reader or just medium. I don't know. But we managed to read 86 pages in 1 hour 24 minutes, which technically we need to subtract 13 pages from that. I'm not good at maths, guys, so yes, I am putting it on my calculator. That was actually 73 pages. Okay, we read 73 pages because it actually started off on page 13 instead of page 1 for some reason. So I'm pretty happy with that, and we are now a good chunk into the book. Since the timer has gone off, I have read a few more pages because I really just wanted to reach page 100. I don't know why. I just have a goal in my mind today of reading 200 pages of this book. So I thought I might as well make it to halfway through that goal. Because it's my day off from work, I've got nothing to do, so I am going to read some more later on. At least we have officially read the allocated amount of time that I set out to read today. So now that's ticked off, I will definitely be reading more of this book later on. So tomorrow I will let you know what my starting point will be, but I will definitely read some more. So far I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely like rich people drama, people trying to climb the social ranks. There's so much drama already in this book, and compared to the series, the TV series, because I have already watched it on Disney Plus, it's already a bit different. I feel like we're 100 pages in now and we've only just reached— my camera just died. But we're 100 pages in now and I feel like we've only just reached where the TV series actually starts, because we had to like have a bit of build up of how some of the characters are within the TV company and within the series. If you didn't know what Rivals is about, it's about two competing men who have always had a bit of rivalry going on. One guy, Tony, he owns a television company called Carinium. He owns that TV company and it's very cutthroat, you know, he wants to be the best, he's obsessed with being the best, especially over this guy called Rupert, who is his neighbour and his lifelong rival. Rupert is an MP, I think, for some kind of sport section, I don't know, but they basically have to tolerate each other, but they low-key despise each other. And there's also so many other rich families in the area that just hate each other, but they also like want to climb the social ranks. They're always being two-faced and there's lots of affairs. And yeah, so far we've just been sort of setting the scene. Nothing too crazy has happened. We've mainly just been introduced to all of the characters in this little chunk of the book. But I think from where we are now, we're going to be getting into more of the plot and more of the story because we've kind of met every single character. So tomorrow I'll tell you what page we're starting on, because I'm definitely going to read some more tonight. So yeah, so far really enjoying this. I also listened to a playlist and that really set the scene. I honestly love 80s music. It just feels like I'm in the film, you know, it feels like I'm in the TV series. It is genuinely the gloomiest day ever right now. I'm kind of obsessed. It's now Monday. Don't know if you can even see that. It's Monday and I'm gonna start today's reading now because it is currently 9:10. I've been to the gym, washed my hair. It's my day off from work again. We've got all the time in the world, so let's look at how much we have to read this morning. Yesterday as well, just an update, I did end up managing to read up to page 202, which gets us to chapter 16. So that is stunning. We've managed to make a little bit of an extra dent in the progress. So last Monday I was on TikTok for 58 minutes, which honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. That's a pretty easy goal today. I'm just gonna sit and do that all in one. But I'm gonna go make a coffee, sit down and read for 58 minutes, which will hopefully give me a good chunk extra into this book. Just gone off. I managed to make it to page 260, chapter 20, and I've read for exactly 58 minutes. So the reading has been done for the day. I'm definitely going to read more. I'm definitely going to try get to maybe like halfway through this book. I feel like that's possible. It's definitely ramping up in pace right now. Like, it is 100%. We're in the story now. There's lots of stuff going on. I will say with this book, it's kind of like a weird juxtaposition of, on one hand, it's very entertaining because there's so many POVs, there's so much drama, there's so many different people's lives and relationships and affairs and all this stuff going on. It genuinely reads like you're watching a TV programme. But on the other hand, with this book, it's obviously so thick. There's so much detail, so much inner monologue, like so many tidbits of information that sometimes are a little bit irrelevant, I guess, that it's a little bit slow to read. So sometimes you feel like you're swept away in the story and you can't stop reading because there's so much drama and excitement. But on the other hand, sometimes there's too much information and you kind of drag your feet a little bit. That's kind of where I am at with it right now. I'm definitely enjoying it a lot and it's very, very, very entertaining. There's genuinely so much drama. It really just is rich people drama and rich people doing very rich people things, throwing lavish parties and competing over money and spending insane amounts. But I'm enjoying reading about it and it's definitely more detailed than the show. So I will see you guys tomorrow when we are back with the amount of time we have to read for. It's Wednesday, incorrect, it's Tuesday. It's now Tuesday and I have not yet started reading for the day. Yesterday we managed to read for 58 minutes, which was the amount of time I was on TikTok for last Monday. Today is the longest day of the challenge. So, last Tuesday I was on my phone for, can we see that? 2 hours and 49 minutes. Brill. It is currently 2:57, so I'm gonna get reading. I feel like I should just get on with this. 2 hours 57 minutes spent on TikTok last week, the longest of the challenge. That is basically 3 hours to read. I have been at work this morning and then I went to the gym, so we have the rest of the afternoon to read realistically. Do I think I'm going to be able to read for that long? I actually don't know. I'm definitely going to have to stop and start the timer. I also have been listening to my audiobook today as I've been driving around for work. So we have already probably listened to genuinely about an hour of a book. So if I don't complete today's reading goal, then I am counting the hour that I listened to my audiobook, because technically that is still part of the challenge, I guess, which was Tom Lake, by the way, by Anne Patchett. That is the audiobook I'm currently listening to. Yesterday I did end up reading a little bit more and we made it to page 407, chapter 31. So I am going to carry on with Rivals because I do feel like we'll be able to make quite a big dent in this book today and maybe get close to finishing it. So I'm going to go now and we're going to get on with reading. I look like a literal egg today. but I've just read for an hour and like 50 something minutes, so we have 57 minutes left on the timer. I feel like I've just done such a good chunk of that timer, and I've managed to make it to page 506, chapter 38. So we have this much left of Rivals. I am enjoying this book, but I feel like there's so many out-of-pocket comments and so many like gross comments within this book that it genuinely feels like it was written by a very gross man. You know? If you've read it, maybe you'll know what I'm meaning. There's just a lot of comments that I'm just like, oh, that makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's just like, particularly comments about underage girls and women in general. It's like a very anti-feminism book. I don't know if she's trying to be like in a tone of its time, like in the 80s type thing, but there's a lot of comments where I've literally had to stop and be like, did I just read that right? Ew. So that is really putting me off the book, and there was literally a time when I was just reading that I was like, do I want to continue right now? Because there's a lot of comments that I am just like, no, ew, I do not agree with this, and it's just gross. But we have continued reading, and I'm not going to DNF. I'm going to keep reading. I don't feel like we have that much left of the book. I'm going to read for the remainder of the timer in a little bit. I'm just going to go on a walk right now because I feel like I need to get some fresh air and I need to just be in nature. So I'm going to go outside. Hey. Hey. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Oh, I was so refraining from saying that and I actually said it. Oh, let's just ignore that, guys. It is Wednesday and today we need to read for, I think, 1 hour. We need to read for 1 hour and 9 minutes today. That is doable. It is currently 3:15. I've finished work. I've just got back from a walk with my friend and now I've made a coffee. There she is. She's looking stunning. And I'm gonna go and read. I'm gonna just smash out the hour in one go. I think we're reading Rivals still. We are on page 560 and I'm aiming to finish this book today. So even if I still have pages left after finishing the timer, I'm still gonna carry on reading tonight and finish this book because I really want to read another book in this video. And yeah, I am enjoying this book, but I definitely think there's so many times where I've been icked out and I've just been like, really, like, did we write this? Some of the things, it's just making me icked out, but I do enjoy like the drama element of it, and we just have so much going on. Like, it's getting to the high stakes part of it, you know, we've got like the real rivalry going on right now. So let's get reading. Also, I feel like every check-in of this video I've logged on with the camera and I literally look so gross and tired and greasy and just gross. Hopefully one of the days of this video I will look presentable, but for the meantime we've got the Lana Del Rey t-shirt on and we've got the pyjama shorts on, and that's just where I'm at. I'm back, boo. I forgot to press the timer, so 3, 2, 1. The timer is started. Let's go. Also have a cute bookmark. There's just been another weird comment. I'm sorry, but I actually can't excuse this. There's so many weird comments about underage girls and it's making me so uncomfortable. Like, I genuinely don't even know how this has been allowed and I don't really understand. I feel like so many times the men are describing women as looking young and looking overly young and that being a good thing to them. And it's making me feel disgusted. I literally cannot believe that it's occurred so many times with so many different characters. It's like, why is Jilly Cooper writing these things? I'm struggling with this one, guys, I'm not gonna lie. These comments are really putting me off and making me want to DNF the book. The timer is going off, like the longest hour of my life. That genuinely just felt like it was never ending. It was like, I kept looking at the timer and it was still saying like 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 29 minutes, and I was like, oh, when is this gonna be over? But I've had to put a blanket on. It's genuinely so cold. Like, it feels literally like autumn. Kind of loving it, but also kind of like it's feeling just very grey and I'm just very cold. I need to put on like some fluffy pyjamas. That was my tea. So I have managed to read up to page 623, chapter 47. We have that much left of the book. I don't know how to feel about this book because of some of the comments in it. I just not loving that, you know, obviously. And I'm also just very cold, and that felt like the longest hour ever, and I just feel like I'm just over it today. I don't know what it is, I'm just really over it, and I'm being so dramatic right now. Last night I actually ended up finishing Rivals by Jilly Cooper outside of the time I had to read. So I finished the timing and then I think I had like 100 pages left, maybe just over 100 pages. And I ended up finishing it because I just kind of wanted to read the ending. I am still not sure on my rating at this point. I'm going to put it on the screen here because me right now, I do not know what I'm going to rate this book. I feel like I'm so half and half with it. There was so many moments where I was so icked out by the writing and the comments that were made, and I just feel like they were just gross. But then on the other hand of that, the story and how we've got these two rich people rivaling it out for who's gonna win the TV like license thing. I don't really know what it is. That is really entertaining and fast-paced, and there's so much drama. All the characters are honestly very unlikable, and I do think that it's hard to understand where any of the characters are coming from. They all have so many flaws. And yeah, I don't really like any of the characters, but I find them entertaining to read about because it's just like so unrelatable and it's just such rich people drama. So at this moment in time, I'm not sure what I'm going to rate this book, but it does feel like quite an achievement to have finally read this one because, as you guys know, this one has been on my TBR for quite some time now, and this challenge has definitely allowed me to just get through it and read it, and I'm definitely glad that I have read it. Do I prefer the TV show? Yes. Sorry, I just do. I prefer the TV show. I think, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just more enjoyable in my opinion, so we'll just leave that there. And in other news, I have started the second book of this vlog, which is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. We are currently 31% of the way through. I've actually been reading it on my Kindle, so we are 31% of the way through. We're on chapter 12 and we are 114 pages in. Last Thursday I was on TikTok for a grand total of 2 hours. So today we had to read for 2 hours. I have already completed it. I didn't actually pick up the camera at all. I just thought I'm just gonna finish work and get on with reading. I managed to read about 25 minutes at the gym. and then I've just literally been laying down super cozy with a blanket reading the rest of the timer, and I'm having a really good time with this book. The writing style is really keeping me entertained, it's keeping me enthralled in the story. I'm finding it very easy to connect to the characters, and it's definitely a more unique story than I've ever read before, because I feel like typically with romance, you know, the characters have just met at the beginning of the book and then they build up a relationship and then they end up together. This is very much not beginning like that. We have Yasmin and Josiah, and these two people have already been married, had 2 kids, very happy marriage, and then everything just kind of came crashing down. We had some very big tragedies in their lives and they both struggled to deal with it at the time. And then their marriage just kind of fell apart, and now they are divorced and have been for 2 years when this book starts. This book deals with grief, it deals with a struggling mother-daughter relationship, it deals with 2 people who are divorced but still have very much strong feelings for each other. And it's very unique in the way of we're starting with 2 people literally divorced and they are finding their way back to each other. And so far Kennedy Ryan's writing style is really doing it for me. I am very much enjoying this book, and I'm very glad that I have book 2 because there's a very strong element of female friendship as well. We have like a trio of women who are very much bestie vibes, and I can't wait to read their books as well. So although my timer has gone off today, I have officially read for 2 hours, I am gonna get into bed and read a little bit more of this story because I just don't want to put it down. So I will see you in the morning. Good morning. It is currently 8:27 a.m. and I'm just gonna go to the gym, get straight on with reading. Today we have to read for 1 hour and 16 minutes, as that was the time that I was on TikTok last Friday. Currently on the way to the gym, I'm gonna read whilst I'm doing my cardio section. So when I'm on the Stairmaster, I'm gonna be picking up my good old Kindle and we're gonna be reading Before I Let Go, I think that's what it's called, by Kennedy Ryan. Last night I ended up actually making it to 50% of the way through the book. I definitely knew I wanted to carry on reading it after I said bye to you guys, and I'm very happy that I continued because I had a great time. I feel like this is such a different romance book for me. I never really tend to read romance books like this, but it honestly feels very real, feels very raw. I feel like the characters are so well fleshed out, and yeah, I'm having a good time. So let's go to the gym. I really can't be bothered to go to the gym, by the way. It is a little bit later now. I did end up reading at the gym. I ended up getting the timer down to 57 minutes and 40 seconds. So we did do like just under 20 minutes reading at the gym, and I managed to read, I think, just the chapter. We got to chapter 23, page 210 of the book. So I am gonna go right now, I think, and sit and read for the remainder of the timer. I just got done filming some content and also taking my thumbnail picture because it is actually my day off work today, so we have time to prioritize my channel and time to read. I also think I might make a snack and then we'll get going. I think today I really want to finish this book. Well, I know I want to finish this book. I'm going to read for the rest of the timer. I think that will probably get us to like just over like page 250, and then for the rest of the afternoon, when I have time, I'm just going to sit and read the rest of the book. I am going to edit as well today, but other than that, I'm pretty free. I'm a pretty free agent, so I'm gonna finish this book. This is gonna be the last day of this challenge because over the weekend I genuinely just will not have time to read, so it would just be a fail both days, and what is the actual point in that, you know? So I am gonna finish the challenge today, so we need to go ahead and read and complete this challenge. now Saturday evening. I ended up reading the amount of time I was supposed to read for yesterday. Like, I completed the challenge, but then I haven't spoken since. So I didn't end up finishing before I let go in the challenge. I did finish it today. So we have officially finished that book and I really want to talk about it. I'm going to rate this book a 4.25 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed Kennedy Ryan's writing style. I feel like she has such a great way of making you feel so connected to the characters and really believe that they are real. I also loved the friendship side of this book. I feel like the trio of women that we had were just bestie vibes. I loved reading their scenes. I loved how different their dynamics were, but how they all just always were there for each other with so much support. I loved reading about that. I think that this was a very unique story in the way of we're starting from the bottom and we are reconnecting fully as a couple. I think the couple just belonged together. There was so much angst and yearning between the two characters and I really wanted them to get back together. The whole time I was just like, please, you guys are meant for each other. There was also a plot of stillbirth, so our main female character did end up having a stillborn child and she is dealing with the grief of that. Also that obviously the MMC is dealing with that as well, and they're kind of just like dealing with their grief in completely different ways, which led to the deterioration of their marriage. So we're seeing that. We're also seeing so many great character arcs of every single character in the book, I feel like, especially our two main characters. They really end up thriving by the end of it and working through all of their barriers and coming to terms with their grief and their loss and just learning how to navigate that, because at the start they just really had like issues with communication and getting through things and they didn't really understand what their feelings were or how to deal with them, and by the end we definitely saw how they progressed with that. I will 100% be picking up another Kennedy Ryan book, especially book 2. I really want to read about Soledad's story. I feel like the little glimpses we got of her were just so, like, I just need to read her book. I feel like she's gonna have such a heartbreaking story in a way, because she just seems like the nicest woman and she's in the worst marriage with the worst guy. So I do actually have book 2 right here, and this is also on my September TBR, so I'm definitely getting to this one very soon. And book 3 also came out recently, which is Hendrix's story, and I really love Hendrix, so I can't wait to get to that one as well. And that completes the challenge. We ended up successfully reading for the amounts of time I had to every day of the challenge, so I'm super happy with that. I'm now gonna compare the times I spent on TikTok, I think. Do I do this? Do I actually like bait myself out? So the original Sunday I was on TikTok for 1 hour 24 minutes, and the Sunday of this challenge I was on TikTok for 2 hours and 27 minutes, so that one wasn't really an improvement. The original TikTok time for Monday was 58 minutes, and I ended up being on TikTok for 1 hour 40 minutes. That was not an improvement either. Tuesday was the longest amount of time we had to read for, and I was on TikTok for 2 hours and 49 minutes. And I ended up being on TikTok for 57 minutes. Yay! We finally had an improvement. Wednesday's original time was 1 hour 9 minutes, and I ended up being on TikTok for 2 hours and 5 minutes. Thursday's original time was 2 hours, and I ended up being on TikTok for 42 minutes. That was definitely an improvement. And finally, the original TikTok time for Friday was 1 hour 16 minutes, and I ended up being on TikTok for 1 hour 30 minutes. So I think all in all, this challenge just goes to show that even if you do swap out TikTok for reading, some weeks you just end up being on TikTok for longer. It's just not really a linear thing. It just is what it is, and I had a great time reading regardless. I personally feel like I read a lot this week, so we'll just go with that. Thank you so much for watching today's video and staying till the end if you did. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I really hope to see you in some more fun videos coming up soon. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your evening, great morning, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.